Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In today's tutorial, we're going to continue with the keyframe easing series, and we're going to look at what it's going to take to start turning this into a useful tool. So we're going to start developing an entirely new project based upon this code, and to do that, we first need to create the base the custom command in which we're going to place this code. So that's what we're going to be doing today to get this process started. And so we'll create the base custom command, and then in the next episode we'll start adding in the code necessary to make it all work together. So let's get started on making the base custom command. We're going to basically be using the same routines that we used back in the first of the custom command series. If you can see in the custom command playlist, you can go back and see the process we are following. I'm going to be using Visual Studio 2015 in this one, so if you're using a newer version, it will help to go back and look at some of the older videos in that series. So I start by going to File, New, Project. Then I want to set up a class library. I want it to be .NET 4.8, and I need to specify where I want it to go, so I can pick the folder I want it to go in, and then we're going to call this keyframe easings. And so now it's created my new keyframe easings. The first thing I'm going to do is right click on references and add a new reference. I would normally go to Browse and then Browse to the Vegas Pro 19 folder and pick the scriptportal.vegas.dll. I already have it listed here, so I'm just going to check it and click on OK. Now I need to go into all the code that I had before. So we're going to open up our custom command base code. I'm going to copy all of that. And then I am going to paste it into this project. So now we have the base code copied in here. Now we need to change our namespace back to keyframe_easings. So I'm going to select the MyCC and do a Control-H, and we will change that to keyframe_easing and replace it everywhere. If you went back to the older tutorials, you'll see that there are 9 things we needed to change. That was the first one. The second one is MyCC.control class, and I'm going to change that to KF easing doc, and we'll replace that everywhere. And it appears system.windows was not in the reference list, which is why we had the underscore under forms. And so we will add system.windows, and we will add system.windows.forms. So now the forms is there. So now we need to change the next one. So we're going to have a MyCC main form name, and let's just call this keyframe easing main form. And this is going to be the internal name, so we will change that to keyframe easing internal. It just needs to be a unique name used by Vegas. And this is going to be what shows up on the tab in Vegas. So I'm going to call this keyframe easings. And let's come on down to here. We have a class name here. Let's change that to KF easing CCM custom command module. Our next MyCC variable to change is there, so we'll change that to KF easing. I'll just call that var. Let's go on down looking for a MyCC. Here's the next one. This is the text that's going to show up in the menu. So I'm going to change that to keyframe easings. If we scroll on down, we have another one down here. So I will name this KF easing doc var. And then let's change the category this is going to be under. Normally we have them under view. I'm going to change this one to be under edit. So now we would go to edit extensions instead of view extensions. And so far so good, except for we still have an error message here because the main form does not exist. So let's create the main form. To do that, I'm going to right click on keyframe easings. Then I'm going to add, and I'm going to add a user control. This is a user control, and I am going to name it the same name that is used up here, KF easing main form. So KF easing main form, and we will add this. And this will be our actual form that we will be able to use. So if I go back to here, now this is okay, but I still have an error message right here because it's expecting to be passed a variable which is not currently allowed. So let me right click on this and choose view code, and we will first need to add our using script portal.vegas, and then we will create our myVegas variable, which is of type Vegas, and we will add our variable being imported right here. So a variable of type Vegas called Vegas, and down here we add myVegas equals Vegas. So that will take the variable that's passed to it and assign it to our myVegas variable. And the variable that's passed to it is right here, and so now you see this line does not have a red line on it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rename class 1, and let's just name that KF easing to be consistent with the rest of the project. Finally, we can start adding in some things. I'm going to need a button to say I'm ready to choose which effect I'm looking at. I'm going to need a label so that I can display the information on which event that I found. I'm going to need some combo boxes to let me choose which effect on that box. And then I need to be able to pick which parameter in that effect that I want to change. I need to be able to verify the keyframe locations. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to do that yet. I'm also going to need a combo box to select which easing type that I want. I'm going to need another button down here in order to tell it to go ahead and apply the keyframes. I'm going to go through and work on the design of this, and once I have the design completed, then we'll begin the next tutorial and start putting in the code behind this to start getting the information we need, and then finally adding in the code necessary to do the real work of the thing by adding the keyframes to that event. So tune in to the next tutorial and we'll continue on this custom command and then see how it works. Please sign up at www.JETDV.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.